our lesson for today. So remember last time we talked about Ezekiel, and we talked about how Ezekiel made the dry bones come alive using God's power. So God told Ezekiel, tell the dry bones to come alive, and that's exactly what happened. The dry bones moved together, and then they grew muscles, and then they grew skin, and then they started to breathe. So it would rise and it would fall, and then they stood up on their feet. So after the dry bones came alive, God told Ezekiel, this is exactly what I'm going to do for my people. They have been scattered, but I will bring them together and I will give them new life. So now let's see what happens next to the Jews.
So it had been 70 years since King Nebuchadnezzar took the captives from Jerusalem to Babylon. And this is a very long time, 70 years. So they had no memory of what it looked like. But they had stories from their parents about how the place looked like, and most important, the beautiful temple. And now there was a new king, and this king was called King Cyrus. And this king was a ruler of the Persian Empire. And the king wanted his people to be happy and comfortable, and so he decided one day, I will free the captives.
Yes, King Cyrus decided, I'm going to let everyone go. And the Jewish people realized that this was God's promises coming true. It was God's promises. Remember, he had made promises through prophet Jeremiah and prophet Ezekiel, and now they were coming true. So, King Cyrus made a big proclamation. A proclamation is a big announcement. And in his announcement, he said that all of the people from Jerusalem are free to go back to Jerusalem and to rebuild their temple. And he also said, all of the poor people, if you are poor and you cannot go home because you don't have enough money, you are all to be given pack animals like donkeys, and you're also supposed to be given supplies so that you can go home, you can go on this long journey. So when the Jewish people had all of this, they were excited and they were so happy. So they got ready for the long journey back. They were led by someone called Zerubbabel. Now Zerubbabel was the grandson of King Jehoiachin. So it was Zerubbabel leading them home. Now Zerubbabel was held by a priest whose name was Joshua. So Zerubbabel plus Joshua leading the people back home. But before they left, King Cyrus made another announcement, and he returned all of the treasures that were taken from the temple. He gave them back to the people of Jerusalem. So now they were ready to leave.
This was good news. Can you imagine? They have someone to lead them back home. They have been returned their treasures of the temple. And so many Jews remained, but there was a small group that started to head out.
So this small group that started to head out, remember when we were talking about Ezekiel before and how he cut his hair and his beard, and some of it was scattered and some of it was thrown into the fire and some of it was chopped into pieces. But Ezekiel gathered all of the long hairs he could find. This was the small group of people who were returning home. They were like these hairs that Ezekiel had gathered. So they were happy. They were going home. They had their leaders. They were excited. They were singing and they were dancing and they were praising. But when they got to Jerusalem, they became sad. They were full of despair because everything was destroyed. The walls, the temple, the buildings, all of it was destroyed. There was dirt everywhere. There was rubbish everywhere. And worst of all, their neighbors, the people who had moved in after everywhere else had been attacked, their neighbors were very unfriendly. They were very unfriendly neighbors. So this made the people very sad.
So the Israelites were taken away and their place was raided by other people. And these people who came to stay there were the Samaritans. So these Samaritans, they knew a little about God, but they continued to worship their idols. And they did not want them to come back and rebuild their cities. So Zerubbabel and Joshua knew there was going to be a lot of work to be done,
and it was going to be very, very hard. So children, what we learn from this story is God will always keep his promises. He promised the people from Jerusalem that they would be able to return to their promised land. And finally, they have been able to return to their promised land. But just because God made his promise and God kept his promise doesn't mean that when they got to the next level that there would not be challenges. Remember, they got there and everything was destroyed and the neighbors were unfriendly and they did not want them back. So just because God makes you a promise and he fulfills his promise and takes you to the next level, it does not mean that there will not be any challenges. There will always be challenges. So we need to remember God will fulfill his promises and there will always be the next challenges. So now it's time for us to sing our song. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. Okay kids, it's time for us to sing our song. Now we've just talked about how the Jewish exiles were set free. So now we are gonna sing a song about how even us, we are free to run, to dance, to sing, and to live for God. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. It's time for us to do our craft. Now we've just talked about how the captives were set free by King Cyrus, and he said that everyone from Jerusalem can go back home if they want to, and they can go back and build their temple. And he even gave back all the treasures that were taken from the temple in the first place. So Zerubbabel and Joshua, the new leaders leading the group that is going home, started their long journey back to Jerusalem. But remember, we said when they got there, they became sad. At first, they were excited and then they became sad. But because this story is about the long journey that the people took, we are going to make travel bags. So when we see them, we'll remember these people had a long journey to go from Babylon back to Jerusalem, and it was God keeping his promise. But when they got there, they still met other challenges. So let's start making our bag. What we have here is we have manila paper. All of these are pieces of manila paper. So the biggest piece is going to be the bag part. It's going to be the suitcase that we're going to be traveling with. These pieces are half a circle. Each of them are one half of a circle, and they're going to help us make the wheels that will go under our bag to make them easier to move. This is going to be the handle at the top of our bag so we can walk around with it. And finally, these are going to be just some decorations. So you can color on, you can put stickers, you can put glitter, you can use whatever you want. So the first thing we need to do is we need to color all of these items. So take your colors and just start having fun. Color them whatever color you want. Okay, and once you have all of your items colored, now it's time to put everything together. So we will take our suitcase, the bag part of our bag, and we'll place everything around it how we want it to be. So first this bag. Then first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the handle. So take your handle, and at the very center just mark where you're going to put it and then attach your handle. So I'm going to use glue to attach my handle. Okay, once my handle is glued on, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue on my wheels. Now the wheels need to go in 2 spots, so measure where you want them to go and then place them. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to decorate our suitcase. So remember, you can use whatever you want. You can use stickers, you can use glitter, anything that you want to do to decorate your suitcase and make it look more like yours. As long as you remember to leave space so that we can write down where our story today is coming from. Okay, and once you have everything placed and you have everything decorated, take your pen so we can write down where our story is coming from and what our message today is from our story. So, our story can be found in the book of Ezra, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. So find space on your paper and write Ezra 1, 2, and 3. Ezra, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. And what did we learn today from this story of them traveling back to Jerusalem? We learned that God always keeps his promises. But there will still be challenges ahead. Okay, so now we have our travel bag. We have our suitcase, and just like the Jews who are returning to Jerusalem, we are ready to start our journey back. And we'll see what challenges we face when we get there and how to solve them. So this has been our craft for today, and that has been our lesson for today. We'll see you next time. Bye.